Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I wanted to talk about what is short selling, is it un-American, is it unethical, and some interesting funny history. My name is Artem Chuprin. I love to talk about all things financial. I would love to share some helpful hints and tips that I have learned on the way to financial freedom. So what is short selling? Short selling is when you make money in a risky way from a stock going down. You're borrowing stocks instead of money to pay them back at a lower price, hopefully in the future. A little bit later in the video, I'm going to talk to you about why short selling is very risky and why most people probably shouldn't try shorting stocks or shorting the market. So let's talk about how short selling started. The first person that ever shorted a stock, his name was Isaac Lemaire. He shorted the very first stock that was available. It was the Dutch East India Trading Company. And he was one of the original board members of this company. What happened, there was some disagreement about money, and he ended up getting thrown off the board and wasn't allowed to trade the company or the stocks anymore. Well, he decided he's gonna get revenge. So he sent his henchmen, and they ended up borrowing the stock at one price. And what they did was unethical, it was wrong. They walked out and they started saying, hey, did you guys hear one of their boats sank? Or did you hear one of their spices loads? It was infested with rats. So they would spread rumors, and those rumors would bring the quality, the perception of the company down. So as the stock prices started to fall, they would have made money. However, the Dutch East India Company decided to fight back. How did they do this? They went to the government and they told the government this amazing story. Listen, guys, for the children, for the orphans, and for the widows, they have so much money invested in our company. If people sell shares short, if people short our company, the people who are gonna suffer are the widows and the orphans. Please, Mr. Government Man, can you please help the widows and the orphans by not letting anybody short the company? And the government did exactly that. They outlawed selling the company short. And not only that, Isaac was not able to trade the company at all. He had to go into exile. He ended up dying a very poor man. And on his tombstone, it said he was a rich man once, and he lost everything except his honor. Well, that part's kind of questionable. If he would have waited about 200 years on his short, he would have eventually made money. Starting with Isaac, throughout history, people who would short sell were portrayed as evil people. In 1929, when the market crashed, one of the main people that they tried to scapegoat on was Jesse Livermore. He was trying to make money when everybody was losing money. Well, that continued throughout the decades. In 2006, one of the biggest villains in 007 James Bond Casino Royale, it was a short seller. He was a mastermind banker and he was an evil man. He was the villain. Now, short selling does have some amazing benefits for the markets as a whole. One of its biggest contributions is short sellers bring out fraud or scams. Here's a story where short selling saved the day, so to speak, or brought a bad company to light. A man named Dorsey, he had friends that would either babysit or hire babysitters through a service called Care. And people who were using that service said the website started getting a little sketchy and it wasn't functioning properly. He also started hearing that there was some parents that were suing the company because kids were getting abused. To check it out, he made a profile with a picture and a name of Harvey Weinstein, a disgraced sexual predator in Hollywood. Not only was he accepted, the company actually promoted him to Care Force. It's their highest designation of authenticity. So he started shorting the company. He also wrote a report about this. The report was picked up by a financial newspaper, Wall Street Journal, and within a few months, people found out what the company was really doing. So there's a link down below if you guys want to read the story for yourself. So besides exposing fraud, short selling actually provides efficiency in the markets, it provides liquidity, and it has its own way of governing negative trades from becoming either worse or from including a larger scale of harm. I have another article down below. You guys can check it out. There's a link there. It's an amazing article on the benefits of short selling. If you have time to read it, it's a little bit more in depth, but check it out. Let's talk about how short selling works. You have to open a margin account. That's an account where you borrow. That way you can sell shares that you don't have to pay them back later. And that margin account has to have a certain value in it. So you start shorting the company. The problem is you don't know when the top comes. You don't know about the timing. So as you're shorting a stock, Tesla is another popular example. People love to short Tesla. And if you're shorting and the stock moves up against you, you're going to start getting a margin call. So when you short a company, and if the company starts to go up higher, you have to put up more money on a trade that's losing money for you. There's an amount in your margin account that has to always be kept compared to the trade that you have. That means you're gonna have to put more money into your account on a daily basis, meeting a margin call. Another consideration is what's called a short squeeze. Here's a very serious situation that happened earlier this year. You guys probably heard about it. GameStop, AMC, different other stocks. A bunch of hedge funds got together and started shorting companies that were not doing very well. As those hedge funds kept shorting GameStop, the price drifted lower. But there was a few people that realized something was wrong. So many shares were sold that didn't even exist essentially. So some people realized if we start buying up this company and if anything happens and the price starts moving up, there's going to be a short squeeze. So like I mentioned, a margin account has to have a certain amount of money in it. As the price started moving up, some of the hedge funds started getting margin calls. Well, if you don't have extra money to put into the account, the second option is the company that you trade through will forcibly get rid of some of the stocks that you're holding. So your short position starts to get liquidated by force. And how do you reverse a short position? By buying back the shares. If I was selling the shares thinking they're going to be going down, but now the price is higher and I start to have to buy them back, what's going to happen to the price? The price starts to go up. So hedge fund A has to buy back the shares. So they start buying the stock. The price goes up a little bit more. Hedge fund B has to also buy back the shares because now they have margin call. And as they have to buy back the stock starts to go up even more. And then hedge fund C also has margin calls. So they also have to buy back shares. And all of a sudden you can see that A, B, C, D, all those hedge funds all of a sudden have to buy back the shares of GameStop. And what happens with the price? It shoots up to the moon. That's called a short squeeze. So should you short a stock? There's a lot of risks involved. I am not a financial advisor. I'm a random guy on YouTube. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money. Short selling is very risky. Your upside potential is double, but you can lose an infinite amount. So if I sell Tesla at $100 thinking that it's gonna go down to 50, but instead it starts going higher and higher to the point where now it's 1,100 bucks. Instead of me making 50 bucks, I'm losing $1,000 on my $100 trade that I put in. The upside is limited. The downside, you can have infinite loss. So guys, as always, I wanted to show you my Roth IRA. I wanted you guys to check it out, kind of see where my progress is. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate the time that you spend with me. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Send it to a friend if you want. And I'm gonna have more videos out every Thursday. And sometimes I might try and put out an extra video if there's something really important that is going on. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for your time. I wish you guys well. Artie out.